This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
Oh, hold on. I hate having that door open. I hate that door. I am a mess today. Hold on. Shutting down the laundry room. It's been one of those days. Been one of those days where I've been trying to get multiple things done and we got none of those things done. Socks vomited behind my TV again. This morning I woke up to that. Took me all day to actually get over there and clean it. Cleaned it in steps. He's over here sleeping. He's feeling good, I guess. What up? Welcome to the Troll Patrol. It's a freaking Wednesday. Oh, I gotta correct myself. I meant to do it last night. The other night, when we were doing the Trump indictment, I said that the Republican primary debate was in 1 week. I meant it was next week. I said it was in 1 week, and I was wrong. I meant it was next week. It's next Thursday. It's almost 1 week. Apparently, Trump might. He has until Friday to surrender to Georgia authorities. As I understand it, he's thinking about doing it on Thursday, the day of the Republican debate, to make sure he dominates the headlines. In terms of a political move, yeah, it's probably pretty smart. The right-wingers, God, are they ever upset about me making fun of their little country song they like? They get it, and like I had this dude was like, "You're so triggered." I'm like, "Aren't you triggered by my video?" What? Aren't you the triggered one here? And he's like, no, you're more triggered. I'm like, yeah, I'm more triggered. No, you're triggered. I was gonna do it tonight, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not. We're gonna do something. We're gonna do different music tonight. We're doing rap music tonight. So I'll probably tomorrow night, because I've done this topic to death. I've had some other thoughts on Oliver Anthony. He's fresh out of rehab. And they're throwing him into this situation probably completely unprepared. He needs a therapist. He needs a good accountant. He is probably going to be completely overwhelmed by the situation and the magnitude of what is happening to him, what has already happened to him. And you know what that is a recipe for? That is a recipe for relapse. That's how a motherfucker ends up jacking it in San Diego. Jagging it, jaggedy smack. So I feel sorry, like, if the dude is genuine, and I believe he very well is, if the dude is genuine, and he really is just getting out of rehab, then that makes what they are doing to him all that more insidious. And another reason why right-wingers are just goddamn evil. So my apologies last night. I feel like I have false advertised multiple times. Sorry. I promoted that we were going to listen to Hillary Clinton react to Trump's indictment, and we never got around to it. So sorry about that. But I'm pretty sure my chat's going to be like, we didn't see Hillary, good. Here's your meme of the day. Nah, bro, she's mid. Only date 9s and 10s. I feel like there's a little piss stain above his head, too, which kind of... It just completely sets it off. Oh. You know, I should show you... the actual meme of the day should be this meme. Hold on. Deep Thoughts by Chris the Skis. This is my Facebook stalker. Now, I was not involved in this exchange, apparently. He was having an argument with somebody who was making fun of him on my page. And she was calling him obsessed with me. And this was one of the most hilarious responses I've ever heard. Like, what does this even mean? And you dangerous behavior, you ate one of those bonus hole bleeders. Sparkles was like, if I ever shoot somebody, I'm gonna be like, bonus hole bleeder. I sent her this right before we came on. Bonus hole bleeder. You ate one of those bonus hole bleeders who think every guy wants to do you harm. What a fucking joke. Time to grow up. And Sparkles was like, can you please explain this to me? What does he mean? And I'm like, I can tell you what a bonus hole is. I can go there. I can tell you that a trans man has a bonus hole. And that's just a cute name. That's just kind of precious, right? Now, why some boomer ass right-wing dipshit is talking about bonus holes? That I told Sparkles, I'm like, I would have to catch you up on a lot of internet drama as to why this boomer ass motherfucker is talking about bonus holes on my page. He's a terminally online idiot. I mean, this dude, like, I can assure you, he watches far, far more internet commentary personalities than I do. Because I don't even watch that many, right? Like, I'll watch, when Lance does a video I'm interested in, I'll throw it on. Vosh, like, I've kind of been morbidly curious about the Anna feud. I've watched a couple of Vosh. I've probably watched more Vosh in the last week than I've ever watched. But I don't particularly watch it because, one, I don't want their opinions to seep into mine. I don't want to, get influenced. And if you guys watch a lot of YouTube, I think you watch my shit. It's clear I don't watch other people's shit. Like, I'm not being influenced by other streamers. I want to keep it that way. I do watch the Majority Report, but that's usually something I do after I get off stream and while I cook dinner. Bonus hole for the bonus poll. PP girl, good evening. There is something about the live show and being able to interact that's more fun, isn't it? Like, to me, this is the fun of, morning radio, because I did a lot of morning radio back in the day. It's got that element to it, but then it's also got, the video aspect, and it plays well to me because I'm, not only a radio personality, but I'm really good at motion graphics and shit, so. Also, I want to point out, only one person has noticed that ever since I shaved my head, the troll logo on the show is bald. So YouTube notifications, that could be they are moving now to a pay on our side model. They're wanting us to pay for our full reach. As if my reach is even that big, but in order to get to I've got 7,000 subscribers and people are like, you only get 20 to 30 views on a video. Yeah, that's not my fault. Yeah, they're wanting us to pay to boost posts, kind of like Facebook now. I don't know. I don't know what the future is, I would like to make a living from streaming, but it's too precarious. Like, I mean, I'm lucky that, you know, I could always do what I do, right? Like, there's no, you know, I don't have to leave my job in order to pursue streaming because it's virtually the same thing. I just do what I do for other people, what I do for my streams. But like, I don't know what platform. I don't know what the next thing is. I'm gonna try to be everywhere I can be. Like Blue Sky, let me on Blue Sky, motherfuckers. I'm on like Hive and some other fucking platform. Mastodon, I can't log back into. I fucked it up. You know, I'm on the Rumble, the BitChute, the Odyssey, but like I don't think any of those are gonna take off. I was uploading my shit to a couple more obscure video services, but like it just became too much of a headache. I don't think any of them are going anywhere. I don't think Threads is going anywhere. I don't think, and like, if Threads wants to go, so here's the thing. Okay, you start Threads. You know, I can't post to it from Meta Business Suite, right? So I control everything that goes out on my artist page and my Instagram through like Meta Business Suite. And that's how I upload videos and shit. With Threads, you have to upload a video from your phone. Like I'm sitting here and like in front of like my fucking desktop and shit. Like none of my video content, like I have to send it to my Dropbox on my phone. And then like even then I can't set Threads to get videos from anywhere but my gallery. So I can't. It is the most janky fucking thing. So if I want to upload a video, I have to actually download the video to my phone to make sure it's in the gallery. Then I can upload it to Threads. And I don't have access to my Word document that has all my, you know, titles and everything. Cause I got, you know, 7 or 8 titles for videos on my document all day that I'm fucking switching out on things and shit. And just like, creators didn't go over to Threads because you made it impossible for us to be able to post to it. Because I'm like, oh shit, new platform, might be able to get some organic reach, and we can go over there and possibly, you know, might be able to take off on that platform, and this could be good for us. Like, let me adopt it early, and then it was just the most janky thing to try to work with. So, fuck Threads. Bonus hole bleeders. God, they kind of look alike. Link messages? What, you sending links? Yeah, I probably have that turned off because it's like, it helps cut down on a lot of spam. And also a lot of people come in and like, there are people that'll just follow your channel and be like, watch this video. And that's not what we do around here. You don't come in and make requests. What the hell? No, around here we found out what that news be doing. We're gonna hear from Rudy Giuliani, who is big mad about the fact that he is being charged under a law that he kind of made famous. Or revitalized, at least. Remember, I kept making a claim about Kanye's assistant. I'm sorry, I've got to correct myself. It was Kanye's publicist. One of the names that was indicted in Georgia. I'm glad to confirm that. We're going to hear all about Kanye's publicist and their connection to this whole election stealing plot. We apparently have, MSNBC says that they have an exclusive on Roger Stone. Apparently have video or audio of Roger Stone actually describing the fake elector plot. Speaking of criminal Republicans, an aide to George Santos has been indicted. Republican representative was hacked by the Chinese. But we're gonna watch Matt Walsh say that a musical performance is cringy. And it sounds like you. We're gonna watch Matt Walsh do commentary on Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek. I thought it was Vivek. Now I'm really fucking it up. I have no clue how to say it now. They did the whole Vivek rhymes with cake thing, and I'm just completely fucking dumbfounded of how to say the motherfucker's name. Because it doesn't rhyme with cake. He's going to try to do Eminem. Of all the rappers, why don't you try to do somebody easy? You're going to do Eminem? I mean, at least he's not trying like Tech 9 or some shit. But that could be really fun. I'd kind of like to see that, actually. Now that I think about it, I'd kind of like to watch Vivek. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Oh, goddamn. We got abortion shit that's gonna piss you off. We got transphobia that's gonna piss you off. We got a woman just waving a gun in traffic. That could be fun, or that could be tragic. It could go either way. Who knows? We'll find out when we get there. Plus, PragerU, I thought they were praising TYT, but apparently they're upset with what TYT had to say about them. So we're going to watch PragerU watch TYT. That should be fun. Oh, and Glenn Beck apparently got kicked off of Apple podcasting. Maybe Apple TV. Maybe he had a show on Apple TV. I don't know. Apparently got kicked off of Apple, and he big mad about it. All that and more tonight on the Troll Patrol Live. Welcome. Richard, good evening. Vivek? Okay, that kind of sounds like cake, but still. Thank you for the phonetical pronunciation. Worldwide Choppers. Beto skateboarding vibes indeed. Is he the... Somebody called him the Andrew Yang of the Republican primary, and I thought that was a pretty apt description, but he could be the Beto. Beto might be the more fitting description. Once again, I apologize that we didn't watch Hillary Clinton last night. We're not going to do it tonight. I really wanted to watch it too, but like, fuck it now. But I would have done it, but there's enough Trump shit, so I don't want to hear it. We're gonna talk about Trump enough tonight, so I'm fuck hearing Hillary talk about it. That's a double dose of awful. Negotiations for Trump surrender in Georgia are underway. The rumor I'm hearing is that he's planning to do it a week from tomorrow, which would coincide with the Republican primary debate.
CBS News, former President Trump is expected to be arraigned in Georgia next week following his fourth criminal indictment. Trump faces several racketeering charges stemming from his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election in Georgia. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis has ordered the former president and 18 others indicted in Georgia to surrender by August 25th.
I'm sorry. The debate is on Wednesday. I thought it was Thursday. I was off. I'm horrible with numbers. You guys know that. Don't hold it against me.
You take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 1/3 chance of winning.
CBS News that Trump is unlikely to participate in the first Republican presidential primary debate. Now that's scheduled to take place just 2 days before the district attorney's deadline. Trump is expected to announce his decision on the debate this week. Joining us now is CBS News chief election and campaign correspondent Robert Costa. Robert, what do these arraignment negotiations entail?
Well, first, they're going to entail whether Trump shows up or not. The former president has made no commitment yet to actually be arraigned in person in Georgia, though our sources expect him to do that because it's going to be required as part of this Georgia grand jury investigation for him to show up along with the others who have been indicted under this RICO investigation led by District Attorney Fani Willis.
What, you think he's going to go on the lam?
Former president includes security. As our Nicole Killian has been reporting from outside of the courthouse, there are real concerns about who shows up. Should the former president arrive with an entourage and a Secret Service detail? Could there be protests? So part of this is legal in the sense that they're trying to negotiate between the Trump lawyers and the district attorney how this would all play out, whether he's fingerprinted, where he's in public, where he's not. But this is different than a federal grand jury investigation because, as you saw just a few days ago, there are cameras inside the courthouse here, unlike in federal court in Washington. So we would most likely be able to see a lot of this play out on screen.
Lots of differences, or several differences, rather. One of the interesting things is also the timeline in this case, Robert, because the first Republican presidential primary debate is next week. A lot of discussion about whether or not Trump would participate. That's all been heightened now. Tell us, how might his decision impact?
It'll be fun.
It could have a major impact.
This time next week, we're going to be watching the Republican presidential debate on Fox News.
On what happens to the other candidates in the Republican presidential race. So many of them, when I talk to those candidates behind the scenes, their top advisors, they're
Fox hopes he debates.
That if Trump doesn't show up, they might not have the opportunity they need this summer to generate momentum with supporters, with donors, with others who are paying attention to this race to really get some traction. Because right now, Trump is by far the front runner in the polls. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and his allies tell me behind the scenes, his allies say they would like to see DeSantis have a moment with Trump. Chris Christie, the former New Jersey governor, has told me in recent weeks he wants Trump to show up. And if he doesn't, in Christie's words, Trump would be a coward. So you have a lot of high stakes for those candidates who want to have Trump be their foil. But if Trump doesn't show up, as he continues to signal he won't be doing, you could see someone like Governor DeSantis, who's the next on the list in terms of the polling, become a target for the other candidates.
And Robert, let's talk about Mark Meadows. He's one of the 19 defendants charged in this racketeering case. Meadows is trying to move the case from state to federal court. If you could, explain to our viewers his argument and what do you think in terms of his chances of prevailing?
This is something that is going to be litigated and appealed for a long time. What's the jurisdiction of a state court, a state district attorney when it comes to federal officials? What Meadows is arguing along with his lawyers is that everything he did as White House chief of staff took place at a federal level, and he cannot be part of a conspiracy on a criminal level prosecuted by a state. And this could have wide-ranging implications for the future of prosecution in the United States, because if a different local or state court in the future wants to prosecute a White House official or a former White House official, this case could be a marker of whether that can be done. Usually, White House officials or former White House officials are prosecuted on a federal level for actions they took while in the White House, if it ever gets to that. But this is happening on a RICO racketeering case at a state level. So it's understandable that Meadows would try to get some clarity. It's also intriguing, based on my conversations with sources in Trump's orbits, about Meadows' role in the federal investigation. There's widespread speculation that he could be cooperating at some level. His lawyer has said publicly that he's certainly not fighting prosecutors at this point. And so Meadows is someone to watch.
All right, Robert Costa, thank you.
Thank you.
So, gonna be an interesting week next week. Buckle up, buckaroos. One of Trump's co-defendants that will also be arraigned sometime in the next week and a half is Rudy Giuliani, and he is very, very, very mad.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Rudy Giuliani is hopping mad over his indictment.
Racketeering. What the hell do you know about racketeering?
He railed against Georgia's Fulton County DA Fani Willis in a rambling tirade.
I am the dictator. There was no fraud. What kind of lawyer are you? What kind of person are you?
He faces what could be a long and expensive court battle. Trouble is, Giuliani is reportedly broke.
He's running out of money. I mean,
I don't know about running out. I think might be out.
He's so strapped for cash, he's been forced to sell his home. Giuliani's apartment in this landmark building on Manhattan's Upper East Side was listed for sale 2 weeks ago.
Well, you hate to see it.
Is described in the listing as splendid, and the price sure is $6.5 million. Plus, there's a $10,000 monthly maintenance fee. Despite all the work Giuliani did for Trump back in 2020, he allegedly got stiffed.
It was Trump who didn't want Giuliani paid unless Giuliani delivered on his promises, and obviously that didn't happen.
Trump and his 18 co-defendants have until noon next Friday to turn themselves in to the Fulton County Jail.
Once inside, defendants are typically fingerprinted, then a mugshot is taken.
The sheriff says the jail is open 24/7 and they are welcome anytime.
Hey, Rudy, remember a couple years ago you asked me a question.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yes, I do. I think you are stupid and I think you are a fool. That soundbite, of course, coming to us from the historic press conference held at Four Seasons Total Landscaping. Oh my God. The world is absurd. Everything is absurd now. I told you were going to get rap music tonight, and I didn't lie. Let's go to The Beat with Ari Melber. We're going to actually see Trump and Roger Stone talk about this plot on tape.
Video evidence we just obtained on the now indicted elector plot staged by Donald Trump and his
Warlord, good evening. Oh no, you get Vivek trying to do Eminem later on in the show, so be sure to stick around for that.
aides. Now this video, which we are about to air for the first time in a moment,
and holy shit, I just realized something. We're going to see a person of color attempt to do a white man's song, and for the first time ever is going to probably have less rhythm than the white man. Oh, Warlord, I've got something about that. We've got Trump's former lawyer talking about how his little report that he's releasing on Monday could very well backfire.
Was a key longtime Trump advisor planning and clearly promoting the idea of pushing electors to override the state results in places Trump lost, to steal the race from Biden. And that's not all. This new video, obtained exclusively by The Beat, will add new information to the timeline of how early Trump advisors and allies were exploring these plots, which went on very infamously to run all the way
in November
certification process. Now, you may recall the electors plot is one of the schemes that spans from Trump's early efforts in the states to wider national efforts to create confusion about the results, and they went all the way up to Mike Pence, all the way up to a attempted, ultimately thwarted pretext that was going to be presented to Pence to try to help stage a coup on Jan 6. In essence, it involved either installing completely fraudulent fake electors, and we saw some of those meetings, or getting states to appoint Trump electors in the states that Biden won or was winning, and try to send those to Congress. Unlike some of the other plots that we've covered, This one's already at the center of 3 different cases, including indictments by DOJ's Jack Smith in Michigan, and now Georgia, where DA Fani Willis just charged several Trump lawyers and aides for these types of plots as part of the larger RICO conspiracy. That is why this scoop, tonight's video, may be of interest in the 2 big cases led by these tough prosecutors.
Wait, you got evidence?
The defendants engaged in a criminal racketeering enterprise.
You got something that these prosecutors haven't seen yet, Ori.
Conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and conspiring and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding. It was fueled by lies.
We look at the facts, we look at the law, and we bring charges.
Now, Jack Smith's DOJ indictment charges one person, defendant Trump, for the coup conspiracy.
No, I think there's unsealed indictments that we don't know about.
Be charged later. They might not. Willis's indictment charges Trump and 18 others. It also names further co-conspirators who might be charged later and might not. Both
Clinically, good evening.
Conspiracy and racketeering treat these elector efforts as part of the larger criminal plot.
Jeez, bro.
We're pushing versions of this out in the states as early as November 18th, 2020. Now indicted Trump aide Ken Chief the plot in writing in an early
Ari Melber says he's got new evidence that even the prosecutors haven't seen, apparently.
Pretend they were electors around mid-December. And some of those people have been charged, as mentioned. Others have provided.
We just watched Rudy have a complete meltdown over it.
When many of those efforts that have been documented that we know about were picking up steam by early December. And the who, because top Trump aides and lawyers have been identified in the elector fraud process, like Giuliani, as mentioned, Boris Epstein, who has not been charged, Kenneth Chesebro, who I mentioned there. And there's another longtime Trump aide.
Chesebro.
Someone who worked with Trump actually longer than any of the 3 people you see identified on your screen. And that brings us to the new tape, the new evidence I'm about to play for you, because there's a clue here about involvement by another individual who, according to what we can glean from both of those speaking indictments, has not been as firmly linked to these plots, though he was notably seen in Washington with Trump allies and some.
We've not had a rap lyric drop yet.
What I'm talking about in this video is a former Nixon aide, a self-described
How do we know he's not a cyborg?
Trickster and longtime Trump advisor,
Roger Stone.
We identify him here for the first time in this plot tonight based on the hard evidence, not some tip or secondhand hearsay. So with the calendar and legal context in mind, we turn to the scoop. We're now going to play for you so you may listen to this new exclusive video edited for clarity as Roger Stone works with an associate to dictate his plans and arguments.
Roger Stone is a fascinating individual. There is a movie. It was on Netflix at one point in time. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was Netflix produced. So I don't know if it's still on there. But it was called "Get Me Roger Stone," and I highly recommend that movie. Roger Stone, I don't think has a political philosophy. Maybe even would be more of a liberal in his actual beliefs. But like that's not what matters to like he is very calculating. He's also a swinger. Him and his wife are swingers. He has a tattoo of Nixon on his back. He is a fascinating man. That does not, him being fascinating does not discount that Andrew Jackson is a fascinating figure in history to me. That does not mean that I believe that Andrew Jackson was a good person. I do not believe that Roger Stone is a good person. Wow, a Roger Stone. Let's go. Let's hear it. Let's get the deets from Ari Melber here.
For how they had a plan as early.
Not high enough for this shit.
Early this was in states that Biden won or was winning, where Republican politicians would try to, quote, as Stone puts it, send in electors who reflect President Trump's, quote, victory.
Rat fucker. That's a great term for him.
Although state officials in all 50 states must ultimately certify the results of the voting in their state, the final decision as to who the state legislatures authorize be sent to the Electoral College is a decision made solely by the legislature. Any legislative body may decide on the basis of overwhelming evidence of fraud to send electors to the Electoral College.
These fuckers were the only one committing fraud.
Who accurately reflect the president's legitimate victory in their state, which was illegally denied him through fraud. We must be prepared to lobby our Republican legislatures by personal contact and by demonstrating the overwhelming will of the people in their state, in each state, that this may need to happen.
Wow.
That occurred and was caught on video.
Okay, the first thing I want to point out, a sticker on the back of his laptop said, "What would Nixon do?" So that should tell you everything you need to know about Roger Stone. Question mark or enigma, Mr. Mystery, Mrs. Mystery, or hell, you might not even be gendered. It is a mystery. I don't know how you would like me to address you, but good evening. So glad to see you. Nixon was not arrested. Nixon was going to be impeached. He would have been arrested had Ford not pardoned him. Okay, so Sky Comment, to catch you up, this is Roger Stone actually being caught on camera admitting to committing fraud. And it looks from the footage that this was some sort of guerrilla style documentary. 6 question marks. Ah, shit, yeah. That makes sense. Duh. I was just trying to make jokes about an enigma. But Roger Stone apparently had a film crew filming him as he was committing fraud, as he was committing election fraud. Wow.
Was illegally denied him through fraud.
Yes, he committed the crimes on camera.
To lobby.
This was November 5th. This was before the election. They were already cooking up their plan for what to do when they lost. Which, I mean, it was pretty obvious. I was very confident heading into Election Day that Trump was going to lose.
Our Republican legislatures, by personal contact, and by demonstrating the overwhelming will of the people in their state, in each state, that this may need to happen.
That occurred and was caught on video November 5th, 2020. It is new to the world right now. Tonight, Stone dictated that extreme plan, as you saw there, to his associate on the computer. And it was not only earlier than some of those other Trump figures' plans I mentioned, some of which, of course, are now part of indictments and looming trials. Let me make a clear point about this exclusive here.
Before the election.
That was before the presidential race had even been called for Biden. Now, this is important. Take a look. Stone pushing the elector plot, as you just saw.
Oh, was the election on the 4th? Okay, and it hadn't been called till the 7th? For some reason, I was thinking it was the 6th.
With your own eyes, all the way.
Oh, look! Oh, look! It's our good friend. Did you see your meme? I can't believe he actually had the balls to say something in the chat. This motherfucker has been stalking me for like 3 months. He thinks he's intelligent, but then says shit like this. And then gloats about how we're dumb and we don't realize it. And we live in an echo chamber. Oh, my buddy. We were smoking on a video chat earlier, and he was like, that motherfucker doesn't think you have a life. Like, we get off of the internet and we go and do other things, and we don't ever think about him. Like, he thinks you just dwell on him. He's like, he thinks you've never been laid. And that you live in your mom's basement. He calls me trailer park. Now I would never, because that's classist bullshit to call somebody trailer park is a dig. But the wildest thing is I've never even lived in a trailer park. I've lived in a trailer for like maybe 2 weeks of my life. That's the wildest. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I've never been in a place where I could rent a trailer. This motherfucker is just, it's like all the idiots tried to make fun of me over their little country song. Like, they don't realize I'm Appalachian. I'm the person you think the asshole that did that song is. Now, Chris, Shelly, good evening. Now, Chris, we were in the middle of a very shocking story, and I think everybody in chat was taken aback by what we had just learned. However, I was willing to stop right dead in our tracks and say, if you would like to call in, if you would like to get in Discord, I will give you the opportunity to talk to the chat. Tell what you think about me. I would love to talk to you, my friend. I'm not gonna be mean. I'm not gonna yell at you. I will let you have your piece. The number is 917-830-4359. Let me give it to you in the chat here. (917-830-4359). Oh, I'm sure it'll devolve into yelling at some point in time, but we'll start off friendly. Quesadilla, good evening. We are being graced by the legend himself, Mr. Chris the Skis. I might have to message April real fast on Facebook and be like, oh my God, Chris is in here. Oh, you're gonna pussy out. You're not gonna come on. Oh, come on, Chris. Call me. Holy thumb, it's a thumb. Chris, does this look like my mom's basement? Hey, Mom. Make me a chocolate milk. I got news for you, Chris. I asked Mom if she'd like me to move back in with her and take over her bills, pay her mortgage and her car payment. We would just share her car. But if I lived at my mom's house, she's very anti-smoking indoors. That's the only problem. So I don't know that I could live with my mom. Now, there was a joke I used to make at the old apartment where they're like, this is like the third couch I've owned since we've been on the Troll Patrol. And this is a really nice couch. I'm just allergic to the fabric. That's why there's blankets over it. Super nice couch, though. My original couch when we started the Troll Patrol was incredibly ugly. Incredibly ugly. Insanely ugly. And I used to actually, because it was like right behind me, so when right-wingers would come into the chat and say I was in my mom's basement, I'd be like, my mom would never let me have a couch this ugly. It was a funny joke I did. Exactly, Quesadilla. I'm talking to Sparkles about buying a house in the next year or two. We've got to kind of see what's going on, though. They're raising interest rates right now, but it looks like the housing market is getting ready to crash again. So, God damn, it's insane. Because I was looking like maybe we can get something in the 300 or 400 range, and then like I looked at the calculator on the math. I'm like, God damn. That's still too expensive. Dude, Chris, you are a right-winger. You're a dumb fuck right-winger. Good. Will you explain to everybody what like how you came to know the term bonus hole? Which YouTuber were you watching that you learned the term bonus hole? We're all very interested. Libertarian is a right-winger, Chris. Yeah, I've got news for you, Chris. There's not many houses that are below 300 or 400 grand. You ain't buying a house below 300 or 400 grand in most places. But it's not like I'm talking about doing it by myself, dipshit. But why wouldn't I? Like, I should be able to afford a home. I'm 40 fucking years old. Thank you, Chris, and your dumbass and your generation for ruining the country so I can't buy a house. So then you can sit back and talk about how stupid I am. You had everything fucking handed to you. I work my goddamn ass off, don't get paid goddamn shit. And then you gloat about how like I'm a failure. I act like I'm 12. Chris. Literally, one of your quotes is on my screen right now. Does that sound like the quote of an educated adult? Of an educated adult? It's kind of ironic of me to say it like that. But then again, I'm a fucking hillbilly, so I have an excuse. This is not your first time here, Chris. You've seen my show before, right? You talk about it all the time. Usually when we have new people, I like to introduce myself. My name is JustinFREAKIN. I'm a leftist political talk streamer. I can sum up my political beliefs as, you know, whatever faction will allow me to piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. Give me that eye pussy, sir. You're Gen X. Did I call you a boomer? You certainly got a boomer mentality. I kind of, like, I would have guessed Gen X. You probably like 50, 55, something like that. Yeah, Gen X. You look rough for 50, yes. Come on, Chris, amuse us. Dance for me, monkey. I like going down. I don't like. I'm pretty pretty open. I kind of don't care what you got between your legs. It's all good. More masculine people, I'm more I'm more attracted to the feminine side of the spectrum. Boomers and attitude. Thank you, Shelly. Definitely live in sexual anarchy around here.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Chris, man, you have to be smart enough to realize, like, I'm really good at what I do. You've noticed that, right? Like, look at these graphics and shit. I make this. This is all, like, no other streamer, nobody on YouTube looks anything like me. Because, like, I didn't pay to, you know, get, like, some pre-made shit, right? Like, I made all of my shit from scratch. Because that's what I do for a living. I am a video editor and a motion graphics artist, audio editing, shit like that. I'm amazing at it. Like, do you think I'm supporting myself on doing this? Sexual anarchy is a state of mind. It's an attitude, much like being a boomer. Well, it's time for me to do something. It's time we get back to finding out what that news be doing, because you ain't no fun. You suck ass, Chris. You're a dipshit. Now that we found out about Roger Stone and we've actually seen him on camera admitting to doing the crimes that he's apparently getting ready to be charged for, let's hear about Kanye West's publicist who was harassing poll workers in Georgia. This is fascinating. We watched, if I remember correctly, we watched like a ring camera video from inside like a lobby of an apartment building, and we actually watched this person harass the poll workers.
The latest Trump indictment centers on some of the real people who were victims of Trump's alleged pressure campaign around the 2020 election. People like Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, who served as poll workers in Fulton County. Trump and his allies accused these women of election fraud and subjected them to a public campaign of unyielding harassment. And the racist undercurrent of all that was not subtle. This is Shay Moss testifying to the January 6th committee in June of last year.
Were a lot of these threats and vile comments racist in nature?
A lot of them were racist. A lot of them were just hateful, wishing death upon me, telling me that, you know, I'll be in.
Yes, Ruby seems like an amazing woman.
Saying things like, be glad it's 2020. And
we watched that testimony live here on the stream, and she was awesome. This is Ruby's daughter, and she does look terrified. And I mean, I would be. I mean, you're in front of a national audience.
Not 1920.
Trump's allies also allegedly tried to coerce Freeman and Moss into confessing to crimes they never committed. Just weeks after the 2020 election, a mysterious white man showed up and began banging on Miss Freeman's door. Miss Freeman didn't recognize the man, and so she turned him away and called the police, who then spoke to this man outside her home.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, my name's Steve Lee.
Yep.
And I'm a pastor, and I'm also working with some folks who are trying to help Ruby out. You may want to let her know.
He's a pastor.
I've got some pro bono service for her.
The strange man who was offering pro bono services was a man named Stephen Cliffgard Lee. He is one of the 19 people who was indicted last night by DA Fani Willis. And this is what the indictment says about Mr. Lee. On or between the 15th day of December 2020 and the 4th day of January 2021, Stephen Cliffgard Lee solicited Harrison Floyd, an individual associated with the organization Black Voices for Trump,
not Indiana Jones,
effort to speak to Ruby Freeman. Stephen Cliffgard Lee stated to Harrison Floyd that Miss Freeman was afraid to talk to Stephen Cliffgard Lee because he was a white man. Apparently, after Miss Freeman wouldn't talk to him, the white man, Mr. Lee, he called Harrison Floyd, the head of Black Voices for Trump. Mr. Floyd then tried to call Ruby Freeman. He tried several times, but he was unsuccessful. So he, in turn, recruited someone else, someone named Trevion Kuti, a black publicist for the Trump-supporting Nazi apologist and artist Kanye West, who now goes by the name Ye. Now, in December of 2021, a spokesperson for Ye said the artist was not associated with Trevion Kuti when all of this went down. But it should be said that Donald Trump has repeatedly used Ye as a supportive black face to bolster his own extreme and incendiary politics. And Ye, at the same time that that has happened, has drifted further and further to the right, openly embracing Nazism, anti-black rhetoric, and Donald Trump. So, on or around January 4th, former Ye publicist Trevion Kuti showed up at Ruby Freeman's door saying she...
Well, now, she lived in Georgia, I'm pretty sure. Like it wasn't just like, oh, we only know one black person, it's Kanye, let's call him. But, like, she was involved locally.
It was sent by a high-profile individual and urging Ms. Freeman to confess to Trump's...
Hiding my live stream? Well, that sucks.
Or people would come to Ms. Freeman's home in 48 hours and put her in jail. But Ruby Freeman was not having it. She called the police once again, and an officer took Freeman and Kuti to a police precinct where body camera footage captured Kuti seeming to threaten Ms. Freeman. I cannot say what specifically will take place home in 48 hours, Freeman. I just know that it will disrupt your freedom and the freedom of one or more of your family members. Well, now, Trevion Kuti and Harrison Floyd are among the 19 individuals charged in Fani Willis's case. And this is the first time we are seeing charges for the people who allegedly directly orchestrated Trump's campaign of harassment against those two black poll workers. And it is the first attempt at justice for the two black women whose lives were upended by Trump's racist conspiracies, his supporters' racist threats, and his lackeys' racist pressure campaigns.
We're in the craziest fucking timeline. Now, Trump is going to be releasing a report on Monday, apparently proving conclusively that there was indeed election fraud. So therefore, he can't be prosecuted in any of these cases, except, you know, the classified documents. Oh, and then the one in New York. It'll get him off of the two cases that are involving January 6th.
10 days to turn himself in as Trump slams the DA, Fani Willis, as failed and promises to flood the zone with false details about fraud in the Georgia election, forcing Georgia's conservative Republican governor, Brian Kemp, who, by the way, supported Trump and said he voted for him, prompted him to say, quote, the 2020 election in Georgia was not stolen. For nearly 3 years now, anyone with evidence of fraud has failed to come forward under oath and provide anything in a court of law. Our elections in Georgia are secure, accessible, and fair, and will continue to be as long as I am governor. Well, of course, the facts remain facts, but the fiction, the falsehood, is still believed by tens of millions, many tens of millions.
Now, I do want to point out he is the former Secretary of State, and there is some question about his election win in, was it 2017, when he first became governor. This was when Stacey Abrams first came onto the scene. Brian Kemp was Secretary of State and was accused of pulling some shady business. So now, if you quite possibly pulled some funny business in your election when you were Secretary of State, you might not want people looking into your election. No. They were secure and fair.
And tonight, as Trump and 18 others have 10 days to turn themselves in, facing serious criminal charges, and by the way, serious prison time, as in possibly more than 20 years if convicted. One of them is making a move for a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Think we're stupid?
Mark Meadows,
You think we're
Trump's former
fools?
chief of staff, filing a court motion to move his case to federal court in an effort to get it dismissed. Now, we're going to have more on this breaking development in just a moment, because the reality here is that the clock is ticking. Fani Willis says she would like to try Trump in the next 6 months, which would be just one case against Trump of many going to trial in the winter and spring. Just think about it. In all, Trump, who is by far the front runner in the Republican presidential field, is facing an astounding 91 criminal total charges in 4 criminal cases. Let's just say this again. Can you imagine? The person who's right now sort of in line to get that Republican nomination is facing 91 criminal charges. It is historical. It is incredible. It is astounding. Well, in a moment, I'm going to speak to
I mean, I know the history of the Republican Party, so it makes total
First, I want to
sense.
go out front live to Paula Reed, still at that Atlanta courthouse. And Paula, now 10 days to turn themselves in. But these breaking developments
Got stiffed by Trump. All of his lawyers got stiffed. This was wild, by the way. People were on Twitter like Trump isn't even going to pay for any of these people who are being prosecuted because of him. And all these MAGA motherfuckers are like, why would he pay for them? Why would he pay for them? They put their freedom on the line to try to steal the election for him. He has no loyalty whatsoever. That's what you get. We've all known that Trump was a con man for fucking years, but these motherfuckers trusted him. Idiots. Right-wingers are fucking morons.
So crucial and so central in all of this. And what's next in the case?
So, Aaron, we've learned that in this filing, Mark Meadows is attempting to move this state prosecution to the federal level. His attorneys believe that if they are successful getting this move to the federal jurisdiction, that they will be able to get it dismissed. Now, even if he's successful in getting this moved to a federal court, it doesn't move the entire 19-defendant case. This is something that would have to happen defendant by defendant, and we've learned in our reporting that multiple other defendants are also expected to attempt this. Rudy Giuliani said today in an interview that he's going to try to get his case moved to federal court, and we also know that former President Trump is expected to try as well. Now, even if they're not successful in getting it dismissed, it's just impossible to know if that will prevail. If they can get this moved to federal court, the one big advantage for the former president and his allies would be the jury pool. Because here in Fulton County, the jury pool skews heavily Democratic, but the federal jury pool would draw from a more broad selection of people. So there would be at least a slight advantage there. There is also the possibility
there's no advantage. He's guilty as fuck.
Be eligible for a pardon from a future president. Now, right now, Aaron, right in front of us, they have just 10 days for their surrender, and then a judge will set dates for these initial appearances.
All right, Paula, thank you very much at that Atlanta courthouse. And out front now, Ty Cobb, the former Trump White House lawyer. So, Ty, I want to start with Paula's reporting here. Mark Meadows wants to change the venue to try and avoid the charges, open himself up possibly to a pardon, right, all of those things. He is charged here in the Georgia case, but not by Jack Smith in the federal DOJ case. So do these charges by Fani Willis change anything for what's at stake for Mark Meadows? If he did cooperate.
Well, technically, quesadilla, Barr was not Trump's attorney. Barr was the attorney general, which supposedly, and a lot of people don't know this, like, supposedly the attorney general is the attorney for all of us, for for the people of the United States. And your state attorney general is the attorney for you on the state level. So, like, if you have a problem with your employer or a business has some, like, funky business practice, the people you call is your attorney general on the state level, and you report them. Unless, you know, it's a federal contract or something, then you gotta, like, go to the actual DOJ. Cheech is on CNN. Cosmic Fox, good evening.
Cooperate with Jack Smith on the federal case, as I know you think he did.
Yes, I don't have any doubt that he cooperated in the federal case, and the fact that you know, he didn't have immunity or whatever deal he got with the feds with Fani Willis does not indicate that, you know, he did not cooperate with the feds. I think he was very active on their behalf. With regard to his attempt to move the venue to and move the case to federal court, of the 19 defendants, I think Meadows is the only person with an arguable chance of succeeding. He's charged in the RICO count and then 2 counts related to the
fair enough, Toads.
Telephone call with Brad Raffensperger, where Trump asked.
I like that Chris tried to correct me about something that is self-evident. The Attorney General is the lead law enforcement agent, or whatever the fuck he said. Yeah, that's kind of their purview, but, like, they're the general attorney for the people. General attorney. It's in the fucking name, dude. You absolute dipshit. Stop trying to have opinions on shit you don't know about. Learn to feel embarrassment.
For one more vote than they had, as I believe his motion reflects. You know, he's charged essentially with setting up and attending meetings, doing scheduling, and going to a federal building, which is actually not compelling for keeping it in state court. I think there is a chance, not necessarily a great chance, but there's a decent chance that Mark Meadows' case could be removed. Trump can never be removed. None of the other defendants actually have the benefit of federal service during the time of the offenses that would qualify them under this statute.
So, all right, it's an interesting view that you think Meadows has a chance. I know you're not overemphasizing that, but you do think he has a chance. So what about how this moves? I mean, Fani Willis made it clear she wants to move fast, wants to get going within 6 months. Is there any chance, first of all, Ty, that Fani Willis goes before Jack Smith?
No. There's no chance, in my view, that Fani Willis goes, within 2 years.
2 years?
There will be, yes, that would be my estimated time. There 19 defendants, there are different charges. Everybody will have motions galore. I disagree with some of the reporting I heard today where people were saying not only do they have the motions, but then they'll be able to appeal the motions. The reality is you don't get to appeal a lot of trial court motions absent the permission of the judge or a constitutional opportunity. So I wouldn't worry so much about that, but this case will take a long time to prepare. There will be motions for severance, motions to dismiss, and if it takes her, 2 years, I mean, heaven forbid that Trump wins the presidency, then there will be a fight to the Supreme Court over whether she can proceed against the sitting president during his term. That's an issue that's never been resolved. The federal prosecutors are not allowed to indict or prosecute a president during his term. But as to state court prosecutors, that issue has never been resolved and could delay things quite some time.
So what is your bottom line in terms of the quality of the case? I mean, the timing here, obviously, you're saying would be quite protracted at best. But what's your bottom line?
I think this is a very effective indictment. Don't get me wrong. The 161 specific acts, She's got a lot of proof as to the bulk of those. My only criticism, I disagree with Chris Christie, but in a principled way. I think it was important to Georgia and certainly important to her to have Trump as a defendant. It would be a little hard to explain to the jury why you have all these acolytes, but not the kingpin in a RICO case. So I think she did the right thing in indicting Trump. I think she did add some pretty fringe defendants. I'm not sure Jenna Ellis, who was never making policy decisions or independent decisions, or some of.
But she went and testified in front of, was it the Georgia Senate? Or was it the Georgia House? She actually went and did the footwork.
Local attorneys who were merely, serving the wishes of Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani, and I'm not sure she can prove that, they believed that they were being lied to. I think there's some French defendants
you can't prove that they're being lied to. An attorney doesn't know they're breaking the law. Give me a break. You hold an attorney more accountable. You hold cops more accountable because they should know better.
Raise issues for her. But the core of this against Trump and
I say you hold the president super duper accountable.
Is a very, very strong case.
All right, so Trump says he's going to be giving a, quote, major news conference, his words, obviously. He says he will present a large, complex, detailed, but irrefutable report on the presidential election fraud which took place in Georgia.
You keep using that word.
There was no fraud in Georgia. Right? Brian Kemp is as conservative as a Republican comes, and he has been very loud and clear that there's no fraud in Georgia. Audit. It's ridiculous to even go through it. But yet this is what the former president is going to do next week and to try to flood the airwaves with. What is he doing with that?
This is all Trump, PR. This is, generating chaos. Frankly, there's a good chance that whatever document he produces ends up as evidence against him. It could even end up, as the basis for an obstruction count against the author, because it's likely to be fiction and solely for the purpose of contaminating the jury pool. The reality is, Brian Kemp and Brad Raffensperger each deserve, a pat on the back for the courage that they've shown, putting, country before party. And I think, the absence of evidence of fraud is patently obvious to anybody who's followed the Georgia events, and certainly anybody who reads this indictment will be able to see how fraudulently those claims were made.
All right, Ty Cobb, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Can I put on the beanie anytime somebody mentions Tim Pool? Oh. Let's go to, I assume this is in New York. A former fundraiser for Representative George Santos has been charged with wire fraud and identity theft. A former fundraiser for U.S. Rep. George Santos was indicted Wednesday on federal charges that he impersonated a high-ranking congressional aide while soliciting contributions for the New York Republicans' campaign. Congressional aide? I thought it was, didn't he impersonate McCarthy himself? Or was it McCarthy's, chief of staff? Sam Milley, 27, was charged with 4 counts of wire fraud and aggravated identity theft in an alleged scheme to defraud donors and obtain money for Santos under false pretenses. Prosecutors said Milley used a fake name and email address to impersonate a high-ranking aide to a member of the House with leadership responsibilities. The indictment did not name the person who was impersonated, but the details of the charges match with multiple news reports identifying the aide as Dan Meyer, now retired as the longtime chief of staff to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who at the time was minority leader. Santos was not charged in the indictment. The facts of the case rest on events that overlap with the congressman's own alleged crimes of wire fraud and money laundering, federal prosecutors said in a filing on Wednesday. Milley pleaded not guilty to charges in Brooklyn federal court was released on a $150,000 bond. His attorney, Kevin Marino, did not immediately return a phone message. Meyer did not immediately respond to a request for comment in Santos' office. Was tight-lipped. How is he even still in fucking Congress? And it's Kevin McCarthy is the one. I think if I had to guess, now that I really think about it, this is the reason they would probably lose that seat. And we are razor thin margins. Kevin McCarthy can't afford to lose him. Can't afford the one seat swing. That's why Republicans in Alabama are refusing to draw another majority black district, because Republicans would lose a seat in Congress. They're probably going to lose control of the House in 2024. I hope it's not a scenario where the House flips back to Democrats and then the Senate is in Republican control. It is not a favorable map to Democrats in the Senate. However, I think Sherrod Brown in Ohio, like the media is making a big deal about blue seats in red states. Sherrod Brown in Ohio, John Tester in Montana. But both of them are extremely popular. So I don't think they're going to lose their seat. Somebody who is going to lose their seat is Joe Manchin. That just seems like a given at this point. Jim Justice is almost certainly going to be the next senator from the state of West Virginia. We've covered him on the show because he's hilarious. Tells people to kiss his dog's ass and talks about pissing and puking all the time. A Republican representative has been hacked by the Chinese government. Congressman Dan Bacon of Nebraska said he was informed by the FBI that the CCP hacked into his email. Thus, there were other victims in this cyber operation. The communist government in China are not our friends. They're very active in conducting cyber espionage. I'll work overtime to ensure Taiwan gets every dollar of the $19 billion in weapons backlog. They've $19 billion. God damn. The country really is just like 5 corporations in a trench coat, and 3 of the corporations are arms dealers. What a wild world we live in. Head down to Texas. Content warning. I mean, if they have an R out from their name, they're almost certainly a clown. Texas, a woman has been awarded $1.2 billion. Good for her. After her ex-boyfriend put inmate photos in public Dropbox. The woman's ex-boyfriend allegedly shared what court documents call visually intimate. I said inmate. Intimate. I did that earlier when I read the story. And then why in the different font did I read it as intimate? Her brains, man. Funky little pieces of meat. The woman's ex-boyfriend allegedly shared what court documents call visually intimate. Shut up, warlord. The woman's ex-boyfriend allegedly shared. You don't even know what fucking. You guys probably put like an O and a U in intimate in fucking Britain. Come the fuck on, dude. Like you even knew what the word was. Oh yeah, that is absolutely, you spell it intimate. Okay. I'm sorry. I was trying to mock the bean eater. I love you, Warlord. I really do. I really got to stop stop mocking you the way I do. What, hairy palms? I don't think I'm dyslexic. I just I think it's something where like I have almost like a because I read things really fast because I'm reading them on the air and everything. Like it's like a sort of like speed reading over things, so I'm not like actually seeing the words. MTG for Hunter Hog. I think it's just like I'm trying to like skim over it and think ahead and shit. I do too many crime stories. I'm sorry, Warlord. What? Talk to me about content. All right, since Warlord brought it up, give me your take. Do you want more crime stories or less crime stories? More political stories, less political stories? Do you like the mix that you get right now? I personally would like to do more labor stories, but I brought this up before. Labor stories are kind of like something you really have to dig for. It's weird. Corporate media doesn't like to talk about labor stories. So it actually takes a lot more effort on my part to find good labor stories. Mary Jane, good evening. Purgatorus, good evening. The Warlord votes for less worker stories, more Labor Party stories. Aw, Chris. Thank you, brother. No, I like to bust my balls on stream. It's like something I like to really play into, like the flub ups I do. Libertad says less cops. I could see that. Cop stories are what got me banned from Twitch. I can see less cops. Do less crime in general, or just less focus on the cops? You guys think it over for a second. Let me go get a I don't know, Warlord. As of right now, I'm permanently banned, but I've got somebody on the inside still working on it. I get an update every couple weeks. I'll be right back, you guys. More content notes. Breaking your balls, Venus, good evening. Everybody's here tonight. This new chair streamer got good content. You know what I think about balls? I like to kick them.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
Lord says only British stories. Who votes for only British stories? Libertad would probably be into that. I do usually when we do labor stories, it's more Perfect Union. They do good work. I do too, Richard. I like the local news hits better. This is good feedback. See you, Chris. Have a good night, my friend. I think deep down inside, he's my biggest fan, to be honest with you. I think Chris is my biggest fan. He's doing his best to help me. That's for sure. He's giving me great content. Venus, you gave an emphatic no, but I'm not exactly what we... for those of you on YouTube, there's like a 30-40 second delay. Whereas the people on Kick actually do not have that delay, so I apologize, YouTube. It's part my stream. My stream is delayed and the chat is delayed. Okay, so the algorithmic stuff, if you guys notice the clips that I post of the show, it's almost always the bullshit that's at the end of the show. It's the culture war, it's the Matt Walsh, blah, 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 blah. And that's like several times people have asked like, hey, why are we even doing this? And it's like, I'm clipping it for YouTube. That's the reason. We do the bullshit at the end of the show. And usually that's where my little TikToks come from. It's where my clips that go on YouTube come from. I love the local news stuff. I think that's like my strongest point, is finding like these interesting stories, the local news hits. And also that is those are also some of the clips that do the best on YouTube for me. Stories that other people miss out on. Slap my nuts. I love your nuts. Oh my God. Are they smooth? I'm not really a nut guy. I mean, like, if I go down on you, I'm gonna give your nuts attention though.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
And PB Girl says honey roasted. I try to I try to follow like every local news Facebook in the fucking country. And local news stations all over the world, to be honest with you. That's what I like to bring to you, the Taylor's business. Like a clip recently that I've done that's done real well is the cop that shot at the Pomeranian. Like, I guess there's just not a lot of other people covering that. So that's kind of like where I really shine. About loving nuts? These nuts. Free money glitch in Ireland that was discovered. I feel like I saw that headline and glazed over it. Venus, we do. I swear to God, we almost don't go a day without doing a Florida story, do we? That might have to be a freaking news tomorrow. That Warlord, look for that one tomorrow. That's gonna be a freaking news. Seriously, we do a Florida story every night. Did we do a Florida story last night? We absolutely did. A 6-year-old shot a 9-year-old. You like laying cables, I like laying pipe. If I'm gonna lay some pipe, I've got some advice for you.
Life is too short to walk this earth for a crusty asshole. Wash your ass.
Oh, I didn't break that one out while Chris was here. He would have liked that one. Oh God, we got horrible stuff. We're coming up on the harsh shit. I'm sorry. If you don't like the more crime-oriented stuff, come back in about 10 minutes. Especially this next one's going to be tough. Because right-wing assholes forced this woman to have to climb through a window to get access to an abortion clinic. When we were having the discussion with the religious nut the other day, he started to badmouth Planned Parenthood, and I shut that shit down. Like, do not come in here and demonize a group that does health care for low-income people is sorely needed in this country. How dare you? Women of lesser means have to turn to places like Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is out here doing the Lord's work. So I'm not going to let some asshole that doesn't know what he's talking about come in here and demonize people doing good work. It's the same thing with the Southern Poverty Law Center. Right-wingers love to attack the Southern Poverty Law Center. They are providing legal services to poor people. They are doing the fucking Lord's work, and I'm not going to let you attack them.
Face years in prison if found guilty of blockading a D.C. abortion clinic back in 2020. One of those defendants is the anti-abortion activist found with fetal remains in her D.C. home last year. WUSA 9.
Oh yeah, we covered that story.
Is following the trial tonight from the U.S. District Court.
Supporters of Lauren Handy and anti-abortion activist co-defendants were handing out these flyers to prospective jurors before they entered into the court this morning. It says, quote, public trial disallowed and proper defense disabled. Well, the judge told attorneys that she had a problem with this going out to jurors before the trial.
As well she should. That is jury tampering.
Began.
This video provided by the defendant's progressive anti-abortion uprising is from October 2020. It shows when the group used chains and ropes to block the entrance of Washington's Surgery Clinic on F Street Northwest. They claim the clinic, which offers abortion services, quote, killed babies after they were born. The clinic denied these allegations and was never criminally charged. We talked to one of the defendants about the years he faces in federal prison if found guilty by D.C. jurors.
It's scary. I'm 27. I'm engaged.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot. And like, okay, you're doing it for your religious reasons. You believe in a book that tells you to turn the other cheek and to not judge people. You had no business being there. I feel sorry for you because you're brainwashed by this stupid fucking propaganda, but ultimately, you're a fucking idiot. So I'm kind of glad to see you go away.
I would really prefer to get to have a wedding and not be in federal prison for the next 11 years. But ultimately, when I think about it, I'm reminded that regardless of what the government does to me, I am not the victim here. The victims are these infants and unborn children.
No, you're definitely not the victim.
Rally in front of the courthouse calling for the repeal of the FACE Act being used to prosecute their clinic blockades. The 1994 law stands for Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances. The group does not deny their actions inside the clinic, but justifies it as being done in defense of the unborn.
When the world tried to shame and belittle me,
you deserve to be shamed.
Acts of violence must be met with bold acts of love.
Separately, Lauren Handy and her group shot video after claiming it intercepted fetal remains from a medical waste truck outside that same F Street clinic March of 2022. The medical waste company denied ever handling any fetal remains, and police never divulged the source of the fetuses it took into evidence.
Those 5 still languish in a vault at the medical examiner's office months and months after they were given to pro-lifers.
100 prospective jurors went through this courtroom, but the selection process is slow, with only a handful of jurors actually getting through the interview. 2 of the questions being asked: did they get this flyer, and were they influenced by it? Reporting from the U.S. District Court, Nathan Baca, WUSA 9.
Oh my God. Nix, good evening. I'm glad you missed that one. That was infuriating. I don't know what we're getting with this one. This is probably a really sad story. Content warning. A Ohio teen has been convicted of murder. Libertad said less crime, and I'm like, okay, an Ohio teen has been convicted of murder. Like really, I probably shouldn't have done this one. This has no political value.
Her actions were controlled, methodical, deliberate, intentional, and purposeful. This was not reckless driving. This was murder.
19-year-old Mackenzie Sharilla crying uncontrollably as the judge declared her guilty on multiple counts of murder in the deaths of
Yeah. Let me tell you about this motherfucker. You guys were here for the end of the show. This motherfucker wanted me. He was like, "Oh, you were getting off early." Blah 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 blah. Wanted me to play video games with him. So like, we get all high after I get off stream. Like I got 20, 30 minutes worth of shit I got to do after I get off stream. I hit him up. We get high. I get all comfy on the couch. I got my bong with me. I got something to drink. Fucking, I think Smokey's on me. I'm like, his air conditioning's out, so he's complaining about how hot it is. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry to rub it in, but like, I'm cold. I'm gonna get under the blanket. So like, I'm under the blanket. Smokey's laying with me and everything. We always do like a practice round, right? We pick our fighters. We'll look over. We take the first round to kind of get warmed up and figure out our moves and shit. You look at your menu and everything. So we do free play. So we did our first round, got warmed up. We get into actually fighting, and like I don't even think we got through like the first part of that round, because it's divided into. Each fight's divided into 3 rounds. We didn't even get through the first round. And this motherfucker's like, my PlayStation's overheating. I gotta get off here. I'm all comfy on the couch. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna get up. Turned my computer back on. Started making videos again. I was all checked out for the night, ready to play video games and shit. All right, now I don't even know what happened to this woman. This is Mortal Kombat 11. I almost bought the pre-order for the new one last night by accident. I was like, no. Yeah, it was a cop-out, wasn't it? I think he's just fucking with me. No, he's got 3 kids and he leaves the PlayStation on like all the goddamn time. That's why it overheats on him now. Just leaving it on 24/7. I can't do this. I'll watch this story later. We gotta have some fun. Let's have some fun. A woman was out in the middle of traffic and she was waving a gun around. Every time I see a headline like this, I'm like, sparkles. Oh, he beats my ass with some RoboCop, question marks. He's good with RoboCop. I can't utilize RoboCop. He whoops my ass with RoboCop. We've been playing for about a year or so, and we play we're always on something to where it's more he and I are just hanging out and chit chatting and shit. And, it's like we're doing something in the background. We've gone over to other things, but it's Tones, last night, were you here when I explained that? Like, we watched the, I promoted that we were going to watch Hillary Clinton reacting to Trump. Just completely left it off. We didn't even get to have a fight last night, Tones. That's what I was just bitching about. This Joker over here says he utilizes Joker. What horror games, Venus? I'm getting ready to get horrored up because we get into the end of August, September. I start playing horror games. Oh, he absolutely should probably dust the back of the motherfucker. I am going to try to play the Devil May Cry series. I've never played them. That's one of my fall games I'm going to play. The Dark Pictures Anthology. I played that on stream last year on Twitch. I don't have a Twitch this year. Maybe we'll play it on Kick or something. I don't know. I'll have to, I have not been able to get my capture card to work with the PS5. I've got PS4 over here gathering dust. Literally, it's covered in dust. I need to dust it off. Oh, we need to find out what that news be doing so I can get out of here. Play some video game, or we can just talk about video games for the stream. I want to see this woman in the middle of an intersection waving a gun around.
Baldwin could be charged again in the deadly shooting that happened on the set of his movie Rust.
It's after a new gun analysis casts doubt on his account of exactly what happened. Experts released a report concluding the trigger was pulled despite the actor's repeated denials. The prosecutor handling the case wrote in an email that a formal announcement on whether to refile any charges against Baldwin is pending, but did not give a timeline.
God damn, I thought this was over with.
The slaughter charge was dropped against him earlier this year.
A close friend of convicted South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh has been sentenced for his role in a scheme to steal money from the estate of a Murdaugh family employee. This involves the death and life insurance payouts of Murdaugh's housekeeper who died. Corey Fleming will serve nearly 4 years in prison for a scheme to steal millions in insurance settlements from the housekeeper's children.
What about this woman waving a gun? Here we go.
Video showing a woman waving a gun in the middle of an intersection. Police say she was pointing it at cars and also fired it into the air. When police arrived at the scene,
put it up to her head.
Struck her with his car, and they were able to arrest her.
What?
The woman is being treated for her injuries, which they describe as minor.
A small town in Minnesota no longer has.
Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. You know, striking her with the vehicle is far worse than whatever she's accused of doing. That wasn't cool.
Video showing a woman waving a gun in the middle of an intersection.
Also, how badass does she look?
On Long Island, this video showing a woman.
Ma'am, you look cool. Like, I don't normally think people like pointing a gun around look cool, but like she looks cool doing it.
Waving a gun in the middle of an intersection. Police say she was pointing it at cars and also fired it into the air. When police arrived at the scene, an officer struck her with his car and they were able to arrest her. Police say the woman is being treated for her injuries, which they describe as minor.
A small town in Minnesota no longer has a police force. The Goodhue police chief resigned first, and then an officer, and 5 part-time officers sent resignation letters.
Yeah, fuck this story. I thought this was going to be a cool story, but it's not.
Letters, that is, to the city. Their cases will be handed off to the Goodhue County Sheriff's Office starting next week. Earlier this year, the police chief sounded the alarm about recruitment problems, telling the council the city's current pay of $22 per hour is not competitive. So the council gave them a raise, but they still resigned.
It's a wild one. A woman who was abandoned as a baby inside a hospital bathroom nearly 2 decades ago learned a surprise. The couple who adopted her had also adopted.
I mean, have you guys not noticed that I have a like, if you a little crazy, Justin might be attracted to you. I don't know what it is. Justin definitely has a type. Justin definitely has a type.
A baby boy who had been abandoned as well. When the adopted siblings got older, they decided to use their DNA to learn more about their ancestry. And that's when they found out they are 100% biological siblings.
No way. Wow. Looking for a new house? This one in Vegas is going viral. The sellers designed it after the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland. The 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house is about 2,500 square feet. It has a DJ booth and a dance floor, all pirate themed. Oh, and an Indiana Jones style guest house. The asking price is just under $350,000. Look at the dance floor.
That's going all out right there.
Wowza.
That's what that is.
Wow. Going all out. Also have a crush on Leisha Miller. She popped up on my suggestions right there. I got such a big crush on her. Smart women, smart women. Smart women with a sassy mouth. Justin's really into smart women with a sassy mouth for sure. I like somebody who's going to tell me I'm stupid when I say something stupid. Seriously, PP girl, the juxtaposition. This bitch got ran over by police, and then, oh, look, what a cool house. But that's news. That's news for you. Working in local news is crazy. Content warning for some major transphobia here. Saw this motherfucker say it on Twitter. I'm going to tell you what I said to him on Twitter, but apparently now he's going on Fox News running his stupid fucking mouth about it. Enes Kanter Freedom is a former basketball player. Why doesn't he play basketball anymore? He was a basketball player like a year ago, and now he's not, but I don't know why. He just recently became a United States citizen and changed his name to Freedom, but he's becoming like a real tool of right-wing assholes, and here he is doing a transphobia on the Fox News.
So one of the things you said was, if you were to put on the wig and go and play, is that when the outrage will begin? Is that fair to all women who spent their whole life chasing their goals? Where are all the women's rights activists and feminists? It's a great question.
Laughing at you for asserting that. Because guess what? You've got to do far more than just put on a wig and go and play in the WNBA. I encourage you, since you think it's possible, I encourage you to go try to do it. I want you to see how what you are saying is batshit crazy.
What have you heard from people since you decided to speak out on this?
I mean, I did get actually a lot of support. I mean, would that be fair? You know, I am 7 foot, 270 pounds. And if I decided to identify myself as a woman and decided to play in WNBA, put on a wig, and I changed my name to just say Anisha, would that be fair to all the...
Go on! It takes far more than that, sir. You're leaving off a very key aspect, that you actually have to transition. You have to undergo hormone therapy. And the WNBA has strict levels of those hormones. So you can't just put on a wig and waltz out onto the court in the WNBA. That's impossible. You actually have to transition and be living as a woman for an extended duration. Do it. I want to see you do it. Anisha Kanter Freedom. Please do it. I want to see you start estrogen. HRT for Enes Kanter Freedom.
Woman, you know, who chasing their dreams since they were a little kid. That's what I'm saying. Like, where are all the women rights activists? Where are all the feminists? You know,
you don't give a shit about them.
First, so it's just very interesting why this should be even a debate. You know, we just need to do whatever we can. All the male athletes should do whatever they can to bring voice in this.
Spoiler alert! It's not a debate.
If you put on a wig and were to try out, would you be allowed in?
Nope.
I mean, if I am allowed in, I will average
You're not.
60 points and 30
No,
rebounds.
but technically, like, would they allow that? Do you know, like, do they have any rules in the WNBA?
Yes.
Biological men can't play?
I don't think there's any rule against it. So if I ever...
There is. Oh my God. You're a news station. You're a multi-million-dollar news station. Enes Kanter Freedom just decided the other night on Twitter, well, what if I put on a wig and play the WNBA? You didn't think to Google it? This entire segment, your entire fucking proposition would fall apart if you took 2 seconds to Google. Holy shit. Right-wingers are the absolute dumbest fucks walking the planet.
If I want to show a point, actually, I can just put a wig on and just call some couple GMs in WNBA and say, hey, sign me, you know, and maybe I should do that, and that will show my point, actually, you know.
Do it! Do it!
60 points.
I see you coming at 6'10". Martina Navratilova seems to be like a lonely voice.
Wow! And the two supposed journalists interviewing him didn't be like, you know, there's a rule against that, right? Are you willing to undergo hormone therapy? Fox News absolutely does a disservice to its viewers because, like, even it's okay to have a right-wing bent if you want to. It's okay to have a bias. I do a show with a bias. I have a left-wing bias. But you need to be upfront about it. You don't need to be presenting yourself as fair and balanced in news. And you should at least properly represent the other side of the argument. Or you're doing a complete disservice to your viewers. But I mean, clearly they don't think they can win. They don't think they can win. All right, I'm not doing this one now. It's 20 minutes long. I'm not doing 20 minutes tonight. We'll do 20 minutes tomorrow. Just so you know that this is PragerU CEO Marissa Straight reacting to Young Turks. The video I was really looking forward to. We're going to do it another time. So the Young Turks reacted to PragerU. PragerU CEO reacts to the Young Turks. Hopefully this will not be a Hillary situation where I plug it and then never play it for you. Never getting your fudge rounds. Oh, Tones. That's precious. That's a precious story. I'm glad I was able to read that before it went away on me. I think, is Dennis just like the founder or something? They have a CEO for their business side, I guess. Like if I wouldn't want to run my own business. Dennis Prager is just a radio host. That's all he is, just a dumbass radio host. Speaking of dumbass radio, and no, I'm not putting down dumbass radio hosts. I'm a dumbass radio host. Speaking of dumbass radio hosts, Glenn Beck apparently got kicked off of Apple's podcasting network, and he's mighty pissed about it.
Hey, we're just sitting here in my office, and we're discussing something that we just saw here. This is from Apple. We found an issue with your show, the Glenn Beck program, which must be resolved before it's available on Apple Podcast. Your show's been removed from Apple Podcast from the Apple Podcast team. They sent us a link and said for more details, go to the link, and the link only says your show has been removed from Apple Podcasts. Well, we got that one, dummy.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot imagine what they are.
He does look like this. Okay.
I mean, have we?
Guys, am I not mistaken? Wasn't his father an alcoholic? And then, like, he's really, really, really against alcohol? Like, am I getting that wrong? Old Glenn Beck over here. Isn't that an alcoholic's nose he's got going on? Like the swelled up redness at the end of it? Like the only other way I know you can get a nose like that is... Man, I wish I had this handy. It would have made that a lot funnier. The only way I know of that you can get a nose like that is a chair shot to the face.
We even had strikes, nothing, right? This is crazy, crazy. You need to please retweet this and start a campaign to Apple to say, put the podcast back on. This is absolutely freedom of speech. There's nothing that we have said that would warrant any.
There is no violation of freedom of speech here. Right-wingers do not understand the concept.
Removal. Again, it's probably just a glitch, but it's amazing how we have to have a whole bunch of people point out the glitch.
No, sir. Apparently, Apple has some problem with your content. As the content delivery system, they have total control over whether or not you get to publish your content. That's the capitalist system we live in. That's what you advocate for.
Before the glitch is found and it's put back. Man, this is huge.
Yeah, I think Glenn Beck is one of the smarter right-wingers.
Getting ready to do the show or rehearse the show for tonight. Tonight's a really important. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're just smoked because I'm pointing out the real crime family tonight on Blaze TV. This is why it's so important to get Blaze TV.
The real crime family.
We don't censor anybody. And out of all the shows, my show is the one to get nailed. Interesting. Well, join us at the Blaze, blazetv.com/Glenn. Are we doing the will not be censored? We will not be censored is the promo code. You'll save $30 today. Join us at Blaze TV. Closer and closer we get to.
Use promo code will not be censored.
Glitches are going to happen. Please retweet.
Oh my God. And let me be perfectly clear. I like Samantha Bee an awful lot. But that is one thing I will never forgive her for, was that jack-off interview she did with Glenn Beck after the 2016 election. She did a disservice to everyone. Battle Opossum, don't leave. You have to see this. Replace Glenn Beck with Jeff Beck. I think everybody would be happy. I think that's even something Matt Walsh could go for. Matt Walsh, he's a musician. I'm sure he respects Jeff Beck. We're getting ready to watch a segment from Matt Walsh, who once called me a formidable voice in the culture.
JustinFREAKIN is a formidable voice in the culture.
That's the most fun thing to throw up in right-wingers' faces. And I had a friend in Alabama who was a right-wing radio host, and he was such a pick-me bitch. And he would love to get an offer from the Daily Wire. And when I said something about, Matt Walsh called me a formidable voice in the culture, he was like, no, he didn't. I sent him my YouTube trailer. He's like, show me the whole segment. I'm like, all right. I had to go find Matt Walsh's actual segment, and I sent it to him. And his comeback to me was, he's making fun of you, right? And I said, I'm making fun of him, right? Right-wingers are so goddamn stupid. Oh, shit. Matt Walsh is probably right on this one. Oh, my God, we're going to agree with Matt Walsh. He thinks Vivek Ramaswamy trying to rap Eminem lyrics is cringy. And, Matt, I might have to agree with you on that one.
Iowa State Fair over the weekend. The big stories were Trump and DeSantis, but to me the most interesting stories centered around Vivek Ramaswamy, and I have two clips of him. I'll play the first for you, and we're gonna play a game that I like to play, which I just made up this very moment, called Cringe or Relatable. So is the following clip cringe, or does it make Vivek relatable? Or both? That's possible too.
Is it?
Let's watch this.
Loud, he opens his mouth.
Oh my God, he's gonna get me demonetized on YouTube. I don't know, it's probably worth it.
But the words won't come out. He's joking how everybody's joking now. The clock's run out.
Cringe-worthy. 100%.
Reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes gravity. Choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up that easy. No, he won't laugh it. He knows his own bad. He's broke. His own bad. He's broke. He don't matter. He's broke. He's so stagnant. He knows when he goes back to this mobile home. That's when it's back to the lab again. Yo, this old rhapsody. Better go capture this moment and hope it don't capture. Lose yourself in the music the moment you own it.
I just want to point out that that is a man of color having far less rhythm than the white man song that he's doing. Even Matt Walsh is cringing. I love it. I love it.
If you try to tell me that wasn't cringe, then you lose the game.
You lose. Good day, sir.
That's not.
Wait, that's not how you play the game. That's not how you play the game.
On steroids. There's no way around it. And
you lost the game.
Some Vivek fans on social media we're posting this video and saying, among other things, that you know, this is you got to be loose like this if you want to connect with a younger audience. Yeah, connect with the youth with this song.
Isn't that song like 20 years old now? Connect with the youth with this 20-year-old song. I don't think Eminem is even relevant anymore, is he? Does anybody even talk about Eminem?
That song's 20 years old. I hate to tell you.
Oh my God!
Oldies. Okay, that belongs on the Oldies channel now. This is, and I know if you're my age, it's a terrifying thing to think, but I can remember growing up in the 90s and driving in the car with my parents, and they put the oldies station on, and the oldie station, that was songs in the 70s. That's what counted as oldies. So that's an oldie now. It's 20 years old. So it's not exactly connected.
Matt Walsh is right.
I don't think. The youth are not driving around in their cars listening to Lose Yourself by Eminem from the year 2004 or whatever it was.
I was not driving around listening to Lose Yourself in 2004.
Older folks in that crowd who are just standing there, to me, looking kind of...
It is like... I'm not the biggest Eminem fan, but I like several Eminem songs. That is not one of them. And then he shows up at the Super Bowl, and that's the song he does. I love the Marshall Mathers LP. I think it's a masterpiece. Other than that, I'm not really that into Eminem. There's a few deep tracks on the next couple of albums I'm really into. But Lose Yourself. And also I hate it because it was everywhere. Because that movie, like the movie trailer played on commercials on TV. Like 2004 was a weird time.
I'm confused. Like, what is this guy doing? You're supposed to be giving us your tax plan or something. Dude, what is this? Now, maybe you say, okay, it's cringe, yes, no way around it, but it's also relatable. And because regular people do cringe things all the time, and we can relate to that. Which
Matt Walsh can definitely relate to that.
He walked out on stage with a piece of broccoli stuck in his teeth accidentally. That would make him relatable in a certain way. We've all made that mistake before. You got something stuck in your teeth, you go out in public, it's embarrassing. We've all done that. But if you saw him doing that, you would still cringe and say, well, man, that's embarrassing. That's gross. Okay, you wouldn't be more likely to vote for him because he had something stuck in his teeth. You wouldn't go to the exit polls after voting and say, yeah, you know, I was really looking for the candidate who had something stuck in his teeth. That was the quality I was most looking for in a candidate. So relatability is not really the key when it comes to presidents. I don't want the president to be relatable in that sense, okay? We were just talking about normal people and how we want our leaders to understand normal people and understand their concerns and look out for them and serve.
And I've got news for you, Matt Walsh. By your description, you just laid out there, normal people that understand your concerns. Joe Biden's like the closest we've really ever had to that. You know that, right? Like one of the least wealthy presidents we've ever had. I know he's still a Washington elitist. He's still a bought and paid for by Wall Street, but and just like he mortgaged his house to send his kid to college. There's not a lot of people who occupy the White House that was a thing. That's closer to my experience than most other people to occupy that position. Joe's got that going for him, so I will give him that.
Come on, man. They're supposed to be public servants, which means they should be serving the American people, many of whom are just normal people. And all that's true. But that doesn't mean that I want the president to be just like some guy down at the bar or someone who's performing bad karaoke at the bar. Like, I don't, if you're at a bar and they're doing karaoke.
Do you think Matt Walsh goes to a lot of bars?
But if I did, I wouldn't look. It's like, I want that guy's president. I wouldn't do that. I would really like to get back to a point. Call me old-fashioned. That's fine. I am. Old soul in a new world.
Did he mean fascist?
I would really like to get back to a point at some point soon where.
Call me old fascist. I do, sir. I do.
And someone who acts with more dignity and self-composure than normal, you know. I think that would be a very good thing. And that doesn't help in that regard. So I guess this makes me old-fashioned, but I look at that, I'm like, no, I don't need this from the president. I don't need this
from you. We're 5 minutes into this. This should have been a 5-minute segment, Matt, not 16 minutes and 46 seconds. But that is how bereft right-wing media is of actual substance. That Matt Walsh will talk for 16 minutes and 46 seconds about Vivek Ramaswamy rapping to Eminem. You made a good point at the beginning, and now I don't care. It's like that clip I played of you the other night. I can't listen to you anymore. You don't have a point. You're not interesting, Matt. You're a mediocre white man. You've got fucking a mediocre intelligence. That's what you put out. You put out mediocre milquetoast bullshit, mass produced by right-wing millionaires and billionaires. Mindless dribble. And I'm waiting on Matt Walsh. I had that video up today and never got around to watching it, Venus. I did actually want to see it. Apparently that's like Lance uncovered that himself. Like that's some like original reporting. So good job, fucking Lance. I'm going to check that out for sure. My arch nemesis, Matt Walsh. I'm bored with it. I'm bored with him. Bored with a lot of these stupid right wingers. Why is their animal video not working? Alright, we'll do this one instead. Kitties. Not following fluffy kitties? Why the fuck not? I should be. Oh! Socks got me good the other morning. One night I fell asleep on the couch and didn't feed them, and they were going nuts the next morning. Maynard was in here just yelling. Smokey was trying to knock shit over to make noise. And Socks was right above my head. Whack, 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 whack. Oh, Halloween cats. I'm cat crazy now. I haven't given you a cat here in a while. Let me give you some cats. Kitten Mittens, you'll be smitten. Look who it is. It's Mr. Socrates. Smacking me in the head the other morning. I love him so much. You don't see Socks much on stream. Smokey's the one that's on stream the most. What's with the white? He's got a cute little spot on his white nose. He's got a. I had a gal I was seeing one time. Well, I was seeing this trans girl in Alabama, and she had a girlfriend. And one night she brought her girlfriend up, and I made them both dinner, and then like they stayed the night, and we had a blast. And she kept like she wouldn't interact with Socks because she said he had a Hitler mustache. Every time I met her girlfriend always like grabbed me and like fucking put her armor, like brought me into her gigantic titties every fucking time. I was like, well, you know, ma'am, like you're both very attractive. Fun times. One of these days I'll write a book. Maybe I'll just do a sex stream and I'll tell sex stories. You'd cook me a taste. PP girl. Nobody ever cooks for me. Well, that's not true. Not no one ever cooks for me. But like usually I'm the one. Usually I'm the one doing the cooking. Come party. Have fun. Oh shit! I've got a trans girl been hitting me up on Facebook. I was like, "Do you like women?" I love food. But I'm kind of a food snob. Oh, Venus. Well, I can do the cooking. I assure you. I'm real snobby about things like I'll snub my nose at some like Kraft cheese. And if I'll snub my nose at Kraft cheese, come at me with usually in most cases I'd probably rather have store-bought, the store brand, than the Kraft cheese. Fucking Kraft tastes like cardboard. You gotta go to the fancy section of the cheese department for my cheese. Like my fancy cheeses. Alright, let's get out of here. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. I'm gonna go cook something. I'm hungry.